So Out of War has had a lot of little mini updates and tweaks going on, and I'm just going to hopefully show you some of those things, some that you'll be able to see and some that you won't be able to see. Start with one that you won't necessarily be able to see. A lot of the dirt has been tweaked and tweaked and tweaked and tweaked and tweaked, and honestly, though it isn't 100% perfect as you see just with the bucket there, this does feel so much smoother. There's also been some tweaks on how much dirt you get back when it reconnects to the ground and stuff like this, but yeah, it feels so much smoother to try and dig and stuff. So that's always a welcome change. Apparently the hydraulics have a little bit of feedback too. I do feel that, like when I'm trying to curl the bucket in here, it does feel it's like a lot slower as it's trying to dig through a lot more dirt. So that's quite good, right? Quite nice actually. But I must say that yeah, the general digging does feel a lot smoother for me. It's nice actually. It's really nice, easy to dig. As you may see in the toolbar across the bottom, I've got a recycle symbol. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to hop out of this and show you. So first of all, the build menu has had a little bit of a tweak, the way that we build. Before, we were struggling to build up in the sky. Now, if we press and hold tab, we can place this wherever we go, wherever we look. So if I want to place it here, for example, yes, it doesn't snap to the ground. That is one thing that I think might need a bit of a tweak. But we do have a better snap now to existing pieces. It seems to be a lot easier to snap to existing pieces. Again, if I want to change the rotation, I have to do this from within my character, so that it changes the rotation of the piece here and here. If I try to rotate the other way, I'm still just rotating. So that's to rotate one way, that's to rotate the other. Rotate one way, rotate the other. As you saw, if I was out of the character, it was all sorts of crazy stuff. If I want to put it here and rotate, it rotates the whole view, and it rotates the piece as well. So if we're in the character, building is a little bit nicer. One hiccup that we do have is, for me, the roof tile doesn't have any snap points at the minute. It just, well, it says that we can place it as soon as we're touching something else, which obviously has its own issues. But once that's down, we can then snap to that. So it's a little bit of trial and error just to build what you want to build. But I do feel that this is better than what it was. Some might disagree. For me, it's so much easier. I was getting so confused with how to build stuff. And we'll put the final roof tile down there. Now, we have this new option here. See, it's demo mode, but obviously it's a recycle symbol. So, before, when we had the current demo mode, let me just show you, demolition, this is what we had before. So this is what we had before, and what would happen is we'd go in and we'd click on the piece and it completely disappears. With the recycling mode, you'll notice we're getting that roof tile back in the inventory down at the bottom. So that's a very much welcome change. Third thing is storage containers. So there was a little bit of an update today that's kind of taken these backwards a step, but you had a sell point and we were introduced to a storage container. Unfortunately, the update today has made things a little bit tricky with the sell point to the point where it's converted the hopper into the sell point now. So if we go over to the hopper, it says he auto sells everything inside, which so far I haven't seen it do, thankfully, but it still runs through all of the system into the storage container, where you can see I have a container inventory on the right hand side of my screen, and you see what goes into it. That is dirt. This one might have coal in it because I was trying it. No, it's empty. So we'll show you that by showing you this new thing. This is a 510 loader, I think it is. So this has been introduced to the game. It's a big old thing, but I think reading the stats, it's still an 8-ton bucket, which is what the other 500s were. So from what I see, there's no big update to the bucket worth, but yeah, you see what it is. It's pretty nice and easy to use. A lot of the stuff, like I say, with this new, the way that the dirt behaves, is it's really smooth, in all fairness. It does feel nice. You're going to hit a natural resistance that you'd hit anyway, so that's always fun. But there we go. So we've dumped it in there, albeit poorly. You see the drum spinning, and if we go over to here and have a look in the container, you'll see that the dirt is mounting up. So we used to have one of these to sell and one to collect ore. Obviously, things have gone a little bit screwy, but you can still sell. You go over to your container, bring up your sell menu, drag whatever it is that you want to sell into your sell slot and sell it, and you get money for it. So not all is lost, it's still playable. Things are going in the right direction. I imagine there's a lot more to go, but when things become a lot more stable, which I think realistically shouldn't be too much further away from where we are, then I imagine Christian will start looking at potentially pushing out to the rest of the game. So bear that in mind. It is a complete new wipe, so if you're building a lot of stuff, maybe have a look. Oh, that's a bit funky. But yeah, if you're building a lot of stuff, maybe have a look at don't update until you're ready to lose everything and start again, because there's a lot that will go. So keep that in mind. Just wanted to let you guys know, show you all around. I'm loving it so far. There's been a few little background tweaks here and there that I can't say that I noticed, but things like the buy menu, all this sort of stuff has increased. Oh, that's something else actually, while I remember. So before, we used to have a really strange menu about where to put the paint. Now we've got it up here. There's a vehicle options, and it literally is so much better organized here, where it sort of shows you the position of everything itself. So you're able to see which item it is that you're introducing and where it actually goes. So that's a lot better. It's a lot neater. It was a bit of a crazy mess on the excavator or whichever piece of machinery it was itself. One final thing I suppose we should look at is the rescue. This is something that if you're new to this out of ore, you should do. So that's to bring up this menu. You do that by pressing Q by default. Scroll all the way to the right hand side until you get rescue, and then you want to set your rescue location. So that should be my rescue location now, because if you don't do that and you get stuck and you go rescue me, you click on rescue me, if you have not set a rescue location, you could end up anywhere. So keep that in mind if you are new to the game. But yeah, little updates that have been constantly trickling every day are working. They are great changes. There's things that introduce a little bit of issues, like say with the whole selling thing going on here, but that should be a pretty easy fix for the guys when they get around to it. Or they did probably miss a tick box or something. But yeah, out of all so far is getting into a more playable state, I feel. Just watch you guys see again. Peace.